Hi, my name is Phil Elam, and I'm so glad to be here right now. And I am the screenwriter and the author and the actor in Swing Low. I played the role of Samuel. Hi, everybody. My name is Phil Elam. I'm so happy to be here. You know, this has been a really great experience. It's been a long time coming. When I was back in high school, I entered this forensics festival competition. And the first year I did like this thing by Mark Twain, and I won the state, title, whatever. So the next year, my drama teacher came back and asked me to do it again, and I wound up winning the regional. So that was like pretty amazing. And after that, I kind of ventured off into other things and then kind of fell back into this. Actually, one funny story, I was working in corporate America at the time, and I was really upset with my job. And I sat down and Mr. Van Hoos, my drama teacher in high school, he actually asked me if I was interested in doing dramatic interpretation for a forensics festival. I said, yeah, sure, whatever, because I wanted to please. So anyway, I won the state competition. I did like this thing for Mark Twain, and then after that, I came back and won the regional. So it was a really cool experience. And the one day I decided to write a short story because I was pissed at my job. I sat down in two settings, wrote half of it in one setting, then wrote half of it in another, and then sent it off. I got pissed again, and it got published. Go figure, right? So anyway, so this is the kind of thing I just love to serve and to help and just tell a story. So and that's kind of what happened at this point. It brought me to Swing Low. So there you go. What else do you want to know? Swing Low is a historical story of slavery and survival. It follows the story of two plantation owners all coveting the ownership of the slave called Samuel. Samuel's this extraordinary slave. It takes place pre-Civil War days, and it's all about finding the links that people will go to to ensure that justice is achieved. It's a fun movie, a lot of fun. Great people worked on it. Marvin Townes directed it. The guy from The Hobbit worked on The Hobbit. Daniel Phillips did the makeup. Jeff George worked on Batman Superman, was director of photography. And wonderful actors, Rocky, Mike Boyla, executive producer. So just a great bunch of people, and we had a great time doing it in Dexter. Wonderful people, and if you see, I don't know if the camera wants to turn over there, but there's like a full house in the Dexter Community Theater who came out here tonight to support the premiere, and we're just so happy to do it. So thankful that everybody's here for this. How long did it take me to write the movie? Actually, I wrote it in like 2 days. Mike and I were riding our bikes, and I came up with the first line, and I won't tell you what that line is, but it was a shocking line to say it out loud. We were riding this upscale neighborhood of Pleasant Ridge, but then I sat down, and wrote it in like 2 days, and then worked on it, and then tightened it up, and took it to Marvin Townes, and then he said, hey, I'll do it for you. So it's just a blessing to be at this point. So 2 days. How long did it take to film it? 5 straight days of filming, 13 to 15-hour days, and then we took a few days off, then we started editing right away. So it was all said and done. It happened pretty quickly. From the first take till the finished product, it was about 3-4 months. So, but everyone was so dedicated, and it was just awesome. Marvin Townes, how do we find the people to get involved in Swing Low? Marvin Townes, the director, actually pulled together all the great people like Dan Phillips, Jeff George, Zach, Rocky, Dan Phillips, I think I said his name already, and a bunch of other people. So, and the cast are various people that I've worked with on other projects, other films. So everyone kind of had a good working relationship, and I think it came through in the film. It's really funny. People wore various hats in this film. Like the editor, for instance, Maha, is actually Odette. The person we originally had cast for Odette, the day before shooting, decided that she didn't want to. She had other plans, but that's a whole other story. So Odette came out, Maha rather. We gave her the role the night before, and she did the job. And the reason why she got the part was because she fit in the costume. So it was by default, and she was a trooper. The night before, she got the script, and boom, she was there the very next day filming. And it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were all freezing cold. But she did a great job. She was a good trooper. So, yeah, and sound guy, there was makeup, sound. Oh, God, it was a full crew. It was a full crew. Everybody did a great job and really shared the vision. So we're really happy with the result. And I hope that, you know, you'll be happy with the result too. And you know, last but not least, we have to say, and I have to give a heartfelt thanks to the people of Dexter. They came out and donated so many props, horses, the Dexter Historical Society, Benny, who made all this possible, wouldn't be here right now, and Chuck for giving us the Encore Theater. And everyone in Dexter just made us feel welcome and at home. This is a great place. This is one of the best kept secrets in America as far as I'm concerned. Go Dexter! The time period that it was shot in, it was shot, well, the time period took place pre-1800s, like 1849, 1850. This is time period, pre-Civil War. So when slavery was very much part of the fabric of America. And even though slavery was a terrible, terrible thing, there are individuals I truly believe that, you know, didn't agree with it and wanted to see changes. Dexter Hall, for instance, or Gordon Hall, where we shot the film, was actually one of the last stops on the Underground Railroad. So that even gave the location even more poignancy for the story that we were here to tell. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's participated in this, everyone who's here tonight, and everyone who will see this in the future. And it's just, I just hope that the love that I have in my heart goes out to all of you, and that you feel all the love and compassion that we put into this piece. And I hope that it is of service to you. And with all my heart, just thank you to everyone. Thank you. And my name's Phil Elam, and I am the screenplay writer and author of Swing Low, directed by Margaret Towns Jr. And I hope you enjoy the show.
We will.
Say hi.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Marvin Towns Jr. This is Phil Elam.
Hi, how are you? Have your moment.
And I'm a director. I'm a Directors Guild of America director. I've been in the motion picture industry, since 1980. I know I look a lot younger, but I directed the film Swing Low. It came to me from my friend Phil Elam, who wrote it and is starring in it, and it turned out to be a great piece. Originally, when Phil called me, because we've been friends for a couple of decades now, and Phil called me to ask me if I knew someone who would be interested in producing and directing it, because, you know, I come out of big budget movies. And I said, okay, let me think about it, Phil, but send me the script. He sent me the script. I read it in a couple of hours, and I called him back and said, Phil, I'll do it. I'll direct it, because the script was just that good. You know, I get sent a lot of scripts, and most of them are bad, but the writing of this script was so good, and the action and the story was so good that I needed it for myself. Yeah. You know, it's an interesting story because it takes place in the 1860s in basically in the southern part of the U.S. And I don't really have an affinity to that because I'm a Chicagoan. My parents are Chicagoans. My grandparents were actually born in Chicago. So even though at some point my lineage does trace back to Louisiana, you know, my whole history is pretty much as a Midwesterner. And as an adult, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, and now Michigan is where I've lived. But, you know, being still familiar with the story, I felt that it was you know, the story is a combination of a fairy tale fiction with a little bit of history, you know, and we're all familiar with the history of America in the 1860s, so there's some reality to there, and the story basically says, what if? What if? And I love that what if part, and the fact that I had the opportunity to direct it, you know, means that I'm able to also interpret his words. like I said, my career started in 1980. I was a production assistant on Blues Brothers. So, and from Blues Brothers, I got into the Directors Guild, and my credits go from everything from Weird Science, T.J. Hooker, Hardcastle McCormick. I did a couple of years ago, I was one of the producers on the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still. I've done 55 movies over my career. The television series House. I kind of start forgetting the things that I've done because I've done so many. I produced a film here in Michigan about 2.5 years ago called The Wicked, which was a horror story that with a twist. So, and that's one of the reasons that Phil called me, because he knew that I had produced and directed part of The Wicked. So because this film has somewhat of a horror element to it, he wants to call and get my opinion, if nothing, if that was the only thing, get my opinion of how I felt his film would play out. If there's any kind of advice I'd like to give, it's pretty much the same thing that I told as I told Phil, because I'm asked this all the time. And Phil had a passion for something, and what I really, really love about my friend is he did not stop. He called me in late August, and we were rolling cameras in October. And it's one of the fastest films that I ever saw greenlit and go into production in my entire career. And that's the thing that young filmmakers have to do, any filmmakers. If you have a passion for a project, you do everything you can to get the product made, to get it made. There's a lot of people running around every major city, everywhere, with a script, with a story, has a story to tell. But the difference between those who do and those that don't is that the ones who do, they get it done just like Phil Elam did.
And that's where the cards are.
I'm Marvin Towns, and I approve this message. Thank you.
The Encore. I'm Chuck Colby. I'm the development director here at the Encore Theater. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. How many of you are first-time visitors to the Encore here tonight? Wow, so half of you. Thank you for coming. And please do come back. On all of your seats, we put a brochure that shows the next few shows, and in fact, the current show. Right now, we're showing a beautiful show by Ernest Thompson called On Golden Pond. You may know the film, actually, with Henry Fonda and Katharine Hepburn. That show will be running for the next 2 weekends here, several other shows coming. It is truly a thrill to have you here and to be in partnership with the Historical Society and this fantastic filmmaker to bring this great movie to you here this evening. So I want to introduce you all now to Benny Fusilier from the Historical Society.
Okay, I would like to welcome you on behalf of the Dexter Historical Society. This is a very momentous evening for us, not only for Dexter and the Encore, but for the Historical Society, for Gordon Hall, and all of us. So, I'm going to make it short because my husband always says to make it. And a big donation for Gordon Hall.
Thank you, Benny. I'm not going to say too much because I usually, when I introduce films that I've worked on, I usually wait till afterwards and I get the audience reaction, and I know if I have to leave while you're still watching the movie. So I don't want to say too much about the film, but afterwards I'll be happy to answer any questions. If Phil met, oh, there he is right there. But what I would like to say is, I live in Bloomfield Township, but I'm a transplant Chicagoan. When I came to Dexter, when we came location scouting, because we were all out scouting locations and we were just having 2 or 3 days, we couldn't find anything. And I don't remember how, maybe it was Rocky, we were in that what was that thing we're in? When you were looking at a map. Yeah, we're looking at a map. And some kind, yeah, that cottage, we're in the cottage looking at a map, in some kind of way, they started making phone calls, and when we drove down the road and looked up, It was like a scene out of Gone with the Wind. He was like, wow! And then as we were walking around, because you know with films you shoot a lot of different locations, but with a short film and we had budget constraints, yada yada yada. I said, Phil, Zach, this is the front of one house. This is the front of another house. We ended up shooting the entire film on location right there, and it was just a wonderful experience. And we kept Benny and her friends up late at night. They were hiding out from us upstairs. You know, we had Karen's horse, you know. My friend Zach, editor of Mile High, Rocky, our production designer, is Brian, and then two of our actors are here. It's Curtis, it's Brooke. Yeah. So I'm gonna not ramble on anymore. Like I said, afterwards, if you guys still want to talk and run me out, we just have a wonderful history together. We wrote an incredible script, and I'm really honored that he picked up the phone and called me. We played phone tag. Phil Ely.
Wow. God, there's so much love in this room, honest to God. I know some of you came a really long way, some of you I've never met before. There's just, wow. I'm not going to talk long, because we're here to see the film. But the only thing I want to say is that, there's like, I honestly believe that I'm connected to all of you as you're all connected to each other, right? And just there's so much love for me to you and love that we have for each other. There's also, whether it's right or wrong, we've all been betrayed, right? We all share that emotion. We've all savored that, that long for that savoring taste of revenge too, right? Whether it's right or wrong, we've all loved that. So, of service to me, to you, that's what this is about. So this is for you. And let's dim the lights and swing low.
Jasper, get my horse.
He knew this was going to happen sooner or later.
He's gonna go broke, you dumb sons of bitches. I told you he's gonna go broke enough. I'm just about to say that. Who's gonna go broke, folks? Bart, Cooter, untie him. Take that off his neck.
Faces, look at all the races, full of love and hatred, what we try to hide. Got on the phone and called the boss man, said, I'm looking for a job. I said, come in and vote.
Wednesday night in Dexter, eh? So I'm sure that you guys were probably thinking it was going to be one thing and it turned into something else. But hey, it's artistic expression, right? I was watching the young lady sitting behind me, and I was watching in the squares right there. I was watching you. Whenever I go to screenings, I'm usually in the back to watch expressions if people laugh at the right spot, if they, if somebody's asleep, like what I am in most movies. So, Phil?
Thank you for coming out. Thank you so much. And thank you to Billy and everybody in Dexter, Chuck, who helped out. No questions at all? Yes?
I just want to make a comment. This was not what I expected to see tonight.
All right,
okay?
you did our job.
But I want to say, I watched the news, and I know it takes a lot of hard work to do what you did, a lot of courage to put forth a point of view, and to raise the issue that you did regarding race and what's going on in society today, and I want to acknowledge you for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I do have a question.
Sure.
curious to get your feedback or more on what you hope to accomplish from that and what might be next for you in the art of filmmaking.
This is like the first of 3 parts, actually, because Brooke,
Hi.
Elizabeth, stand up.
Okay.
Elizabeth, she's nothing like her character. Actually, Brooke and I, we worked on Osborne like this. Might be different subject matter, things of that nature, but it's just basically, you know, just life and things that you see happen, how you think, you know, how things should happen, how they shouldn't happen. Just trying to be honest and and trying to come to the point of love. Because with Andy Kincaid's character, despite all that, you know, he was still trying to do the right thing, which is sometimes difficult.
We shoot for at least, at minimum, 10 days. Minimum 10 days. You know, full-length feature is usually anywhere from 5 to 12 weeks. So we were on breakneck speed because our producer had told me I better shoot this thing and get it done. So we didn't have, we knew exactly what we wanted to shoot. I mean, you know, filmmaking is actually an exact science. And when we get on the set, I know every single shot we're going to do before we get there. And we went through some incredible rehearsals for this film too. And I have to say that I don't remember, maybe once somebody blew a line. But for the most part, our actors, they hit their lines. When we were doing more than 2 takes, it was because of me. But they hit their lines. So we were working at breakneck speed to get that done. So on the cutting room floor, we didn't leave that much. I mean, because we, and we had pretty much put the film together before we went to the edit. And then, you know, we had to find the music. And I have to say, you know, how'd you like the music score?
Oh, yeah. Excellent.
All right. Yep. We got started, and you know, we did the music. We did the music score. You know, so like I said, that was done in record. I won't work at that pace anymore. I'm 57 years old. I can't take it.
Ready?
It's the sugar.
I think I got it. Okay. Thank you.
And there were 2 guys. You ready? I thought it went well. The interesting thing is usually I'm sitting, I sit in the back to watch, but I was sitting up front and I had craned my neck to watch the audience reaction. And I was happy because people, they laughed where they were supposed to laugh. A few people covered up, and I wasn't expecting an audience of this age group. So the fact, in all honesty, that nobody got up and walked out, I think we did a good job.
Wow, I really enjoyed the movie. It was breathtaking. Excellent.
Yes, I think with everything going on in the news today and in society, I think it's a breath of fresh air to see a different take, an artistic take on what's really happening out there, and you know, making the issue known. And I can't wait for the sequels to come.
You gotta see it.
Hello, I'm Mahabazi. I am at the Encore Theater in Dexter, Michigan, and I played Odette in Swing Low. I am also the editor for Swing Low, and I'd have to say that I enjoyed editing way more than being on screen. But it was a great experience. I was happy to do it, and I'm really glad with how the film came out.
Look, that's thank you. Thank you. What's your name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
Oh,
okay.
It was so fun to
see that Gordon Halls look great. I know, and his picture's right above the bed. Yeah. Mark, hi, Mark.
I'm with the Historical Society. I portrayed John Dexter at the cemetery.
Oh, wow.
Some kids going out to Gettysburg in D.C.
Okay, I hope we did him justice. Place justice.
Oh, yeah. It's always good to bring them in.
Yes, it's a beautiful place.
In high school, some of my required reading was Black Like Me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You
wow.
familiar with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it opened my eyes back in the 70s.
Wow.
60s.
Yeah, well, it's good to... That's cool that you read it.
You mean the makeup?
Ready?
Yeah. Even better this thing.
Nice to meet you. You have a cool nice. Stick around.
Sometime in Legion, I'd like to talk with you about it.
Okay. Yes, we will have a great conversation.
Call me.
Okay.
Oh, I've never done that. Call me in 3 weeks. Yeah, I used to all the gore.
No, I'm just kidding. That was awesome. He's freaking out. I'm going, more.
It's always a quiet one. You look great, buddy. You look great yourself.
I thought it was fantastic. Definitely not what I expected, but very powerful piece. What do you think?
It actually is really predictable, but that's just because I know how Phil thinks. No, I'm just teasing. Scratch the predictable thing. I really enjoyed it, first of all, because I like revenge stories, and I also like depiction of gore and death because it's can be particularly artistic and creative, and it gives people imagery and visualization that they might not otherwise be able to extend their imagination to see. So when Phil introduced the story about being about revenge, which each of us has had some type of desire or thirst for revenge, you could kind of see that coming with the story as it developed at the beginning, and so it was rewarding in that sense that you got to see the revenge take place, and then of course the way the revenge took place was very creative and was not what we expected. Had no expectation for face being carved off and magical hair
twine.
Yep, and and then in the end left the very last shot left something, a big question mark.
Right.
Why is she not? So that was fun. That was really enjoyable. Thanks, Phil. Thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Yeah, two thumbs up.
So, thank you so much for coming out, everybody. I hope you really enjoyed the film, and I enjoyed it. It was a great time just seeing the audience response. It was really awesome, and I'm just thankful. So, I humbly say thank you to everybody, and with much love from me to you. Thank you so much. Swing low.